Urgently, Estonia is a dangerous player that has already made its move. It is secretly working for Russia's shadow fleet, and it is doing this in full view of the entire world. A traitor in the heart of Europe under the protection of oligarchs from Putin's inner circle all the way up to the Shoigu clan itself. This is no longer just betrayal, it is an open slap in the face to the United West. The Kremlin extends its tentacles even where it supposedly shouldn't be. Will the world manage to open its eyes in time and act preemptively? We'll find out in just a moment.
Estonia was one of the first to loudly call Putin's regime terrorist.
This war in Ukraine is not just a war against Ukraine. This is a war against Europe, against the entire Western world.
But Estonian businessmen calmly cooperate with sanctioned companies and oligarchs who generously fund the war against Ukraine. One of them is the daughter of former Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu.
To say that he will help me. He always helps me. I can ask him something, but he can't answer.
The main source of income is transport and logistics. None of the insider entrepreneurs checked by the publication have Russian citizenship. The company Atlas Chain, which is engaged in freight logistics, earned about 2.5 billion rubles in 2024.
I really like it.
The founder and co-owner is Estonian citizen Oleg Krivi. In 2020, Kraus found himself a very influential partner. The daughter of the then Russian Minister of Defense, Ksenia Shoigu, through the company Capital Perform. At the same time, Kraus was a managing partner in another of Ksenia's projects, MedPoint 24, which handled medical examinations for taxi drivers.
We didn't think it would be a big collaboration.
Kraus traveled freely between Russia and Estonia without any checks. The Shoigu surname provided a green corridor. However, when her father lost his influence and was dismissed, Atlas Chain went bankrupt. In the 2 years following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Atlas Chain paid 242 million rubles in taxes to the Russian budget. Sanctions are sanctions, but business must go on. An entire network of companies from Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia actively helped the Kremlin get richer. The FS Bankering Group participated in the scheme. It supplied fuel to tankers from Russia's shadow fleet through 2 refueling vessels. No fewer than 159 of them are the same vessels that suspiciously and frequently visited Russian ports. The companies were registered under shell firms.
The investigation revealed that the company Fast Bankering Tin Trade had a contract with the Belarusian firm NNK, which is linked to the oligarch Mykola Vorobyom, who is under sanctions. NNK's petroleum products were imported into the EU using falsified customs codes. After that, the goods transited through the ports of Estonia and Latvia.
At the time, no vessel was officially listed under sanctions. However, later on, some of them did appear on the sanction lists of the European Union, the United States, and the United Kingdom.
Bunkering companies must conduct thorough checks, maintain transparent documentation, and comply with all legal standards. In
Finland, 31 shadow Russian tankers were recorded passing through the Gulf of Finland in just 1 week. And this is not an isolated incident. In just 1 year, from April 2023 to April 2024, at least 3,100 such refuelings took place near the coasts of Malta, Greece, Spain, the Netherlands, and other European countries. The Baltic Sea and the Mediterranean have essentially turned into fuel markets for the Kremlin's shadow fleet. A tiny insurance company from New Zealand also helped transport oil from Russia and Iran. It insured almost every 6th tanker in Russia's shadow fleet. This company transported oil and petroleum products worth 35 billion rubles.
These figures are higher than those of many participants in the shadow fleet that we are monitoring, who are major players in their business.
An investigation into the activities of such companies has already begun, and searches have been conducted in their offices. But unfortunately, accomplices of the Kremlin regime in the Baltic countries and beyond continue to earn blood-stained rubles from cheap oil and gas from the Russian Federation, thereby funding the bloody war in Ukraine without realizing the consequences, and the war is drawing ever closer to them.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
It has happened. The Allies have made a move. France is stepping forward. Military units are stationed at the border with Ukraine. Ultra-powerful equipment is roaring. And it's ready to mow down Russians by the dozens. Paris is putting uncompromising pressure on Moscow. Mirages are bursting in and ready to dot all the I's. A turning point? A wave of weaponry has swept over the Ukrainian armed forces. Finland and Spain have also stepped up. the support program is now running at full capacity? Will this coalition force be the one to finally sweep away Moscow's influence from Ukrainian soil? The answer is coming up in the next segment.
The time has come. France is ready to deploy troops for Ukraine in 2026, said Pierre Schill, Chief of Staff of the French Army. The statement about troop deployment came after the following. The French military leadership warned of the need to be prepared for a confrontation with Russia in 3 to 4 years. Also, as early as next year, the Orion 26 exercises will be held. These upcoming exercises are intended to thoroughly test and assess the effectiveness of cooperation between the different branches of the military, as well as with our allies and the relevant ministries. The purpose is to ensure that, should a crisis or conflict arise, all involved parties are able to coordinate and respond efficiently and effectively. Unlike the situation in Europe, where there are ongoing tensions, especially regarding Ukraine, our position is that we do not wish to become directly involved in Ukraine. Therefore, we suggest a mutual understanding that you will also refrain from being present or involved there. However, the situation is now beginning to change. On one hand, former President Donald Trump has stated that he does not intend to defend Europe or provide support to NATO allies if they are attacked. This has caused concern among European leaders and NATO members, yet Trump is known for frequently changing his rhetoric, sometimes even contradicting himself, which is considered typical for his political style. But most importantly, he says that Ukraine is a European problem and that Europeans should resolve it first. Ukraine will soon be able to receive additional aircraft. The Mirage 2000 from France. The corresponding decision has already been made, according to Ukrainian President Zelensky. So don't forget about them. And the anticipation in the network is a demonstration that we are in the game. Experts point out that the Mirage fighter jets are considered a very effective weapon for intercepting and shooting down the types of missiles that Russia uses in its attacks against Ukraine. These aircraft are valued for their advanced technology and their ability to respond quickly to incoming threats, making them highly useful in defending Ukrainian airspace. The significance of the Mirage goes beyond its technical capabilities. It also serves as a clear demonstration that France is firmly standing with Ukraine. This support is not just symbolic, but represents a concrete commitment to helping Ukraine protect itself during this ongoing conflict. That's its capability. It's better to intercept attacks, and in the future, it may be possible to organize certain operations, including on the territory of the Russian Federation.
The UK is taking on the task of helping our country with air defense. In the future, the country also plans to assist with missiles and the production of interceptor drones.
Back in 2023, the German Council on Foreign Relations wrote in its report the following phrase: according to their analysis, within 6 to 10 years after the end of the war in Ukraine, Russia will attack Germany. Specifically Germany, not Europe, but Germany itself will be at war. Since then, the dates have changed, how much time Russia would need, but the idea that Russia wants to go to war with Europe has not disappeared. Sometimes Europeans, when they want to emphasize and elevate their own geopolitical significance, recall this existential threat coming from Russia and, as they say, are therefore generally ready to prepare themselves.
Spain and Finland have joined the Pearl Initiative, which allows partners to purchase weapons for Ukraine from the United States using their own funds. The president of Ukraine announced this while speaking with journalists in Brussels.
Politically, it is important for Trump to be able to say, we are not helping Ukraine, we are simply selling weapons to our NATO partners, and what they do with them, whether they give them to Ukraine or not, is their own business. It is very important that all NATO countries do the same as we do. As many countries as possible should participate in this program. I understand that Hungary might be against it, but the main economies are involved. And it's not just Europe, by the way. Canada is also a participant in this program. And sometimes Canada has paid for a separate batch of weapons purchased in the US. And here there's a term for this, a win-win situation. In this case, it's a win-win-win.
Finland has also announced its contribution of 100 million euros for Ukraine. Earlier, Norway announced additional funding of $200 million. Within the framework of the Pearl program, 6 NATO member countries have already funded 4 defense support packages for Ukraine. These are the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany, and Canada.
That's all from me for now. This was Darina Hutsakalo with you. Even more scorching news in our next broadcast. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you soon.